Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Queen Bee SP. I'm here today with my lovely husband, Matt Pesch.
Hello.
And we are going to give you a little bit of an update on a few things. So, first of all, Matt just watched my chapter 15 book reading.
Really good.
And yeah, I wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
It's emotional. I mean, you're talking about family disconnection. You're talking about, your mom crying and you crying, and it's how you describe like how painful disconnection is. Like, how do you go away from your mom? How does a mom disconnect from their daughter? You know what I mean? It's like it's the worst thing that Scientology does. I mean, it does all kinds of nasty stuff. Whether it's financial or, covering up crimes against children, against elderly, all that. But at the bottom, I mean, the most important thing to people is their loved ones, their children, their parents, their brothers, sisters, these kind of things. And Scientology uses that all for leverage and for control and blackmail and say, you do what we want you to do, boy, or we're going to make it so you can never see your children again, or you never see your parents again, you never see your brother or sister again. And that's bad. I mean, how do you have a tax exempt company, quote unquote church, that can do that kind of stuff? It's disgusting. Anyway, that's Scientology, and that's why we speak out, and that's why we take the time to do videos like this.
Yeah. Did you cry when you watched it?
Oh yeah, I was bawling like a little baby.
Honey!
No, I did have some tears come out. Yes,
I saw that, and so I wanted people to know that you have your emotions too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like seeing my dad for the first time.
Yeah.
In all those years, and how he welcomed us back with open arms. But it was also fun to go back through what we did to get started in the world again after being out of the world for 25 years, or 27 years for you.
Yeah.
And getting started in the world, and the joy that we had being free. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of like recap that because Matt just finished watching my final chapter of the book. So what I'm going to be doing, I have to do one more edition, which is going to be covering the profile of a sociopath, because I included that in my book, and it's so important to know those characteristics, because that is the characteristic of the person who's leading Scientology right now and has been for several decades, David Miscavige. So it gives you a lot of prediction on what that person is capable of and what he does do on a regular basis.
Yeah, I tell you, watching it too, the last chapter, when you finished, I was like, okay, I got to work with Amy to make sure we make the time for you to write the next book, because you leave it at a point where there's so much happens after that. And,
so much.
Really. And it needs to be told. It needs to be told. So I think we need to put the effort in to make the time to get your book written fast and get it out there for people to read.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, there's so much momentum right now of people speaking out against, about Scientology and the abuses, that we just need to pile it on and just get, drive it home.
Yeah. And you have been working on your book too.
Yeah.
And, he's worried that he's not a writer or something like that. You don't have to worry about that because I'll edit it. No,
right.
And I'm
That's
not
true.
a writer either, but we're
you
just
are
gonna,
a writer.
We're just going to get the words out
Yeah.
and the message out and the story out and communicated. And I mean, the things that you have, the story, the knowledge that you have is vital to be written and documented for the future. I mean, we can tell stories on video and everything like that, but putting it in a book that somebody can see the whole full story in one place is really important. So you get to do yours too. So we'll make time. We'll make sure that each of us make time to be able to do that.
Right.
But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to be doing the Little Dicky Bedtime Stories. I'll be doing that series because it's short, but believe that there's 15 of those little stories, and there's backstories to every one of those. So
That's true too.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that because it's requested, and it'll be good because that's when we were under the radar before Scientology pissed us off so much that we just went full Borneo on them.
I mean, in the beginning, it wasn't it was really unsafe to speak out because you'd be like one, by yourself.
Yeah.
Now there's like hundreds, thousands of voices speaking out about Scientology, so they can't keep up with it all. I mean, even SPTV, it seems like there's a new channel every week.
I know. I'm
And
so
it's
happy about
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
And so what do they can't keep up with that. And it's just overwhelming for them. The truth is getting out. It's getting out more and more, and we're just going to ramp it up.
Yeah. And one of the other things that I wanted to let you know is I was mentioning that so many people are contacting us, reaching out and contacting us to find out anything about their loved ones that are still in Scientology. And there's a few things that are being done on that. Number one, we're finding out from our leakety leaks anything that we can right now. And also, there's things happening where we'll have like a centralized location where people can put information on their loved ones, photographs, last known area where they were and everything, and it can be monitored. And anyway, there's going to be much more on that. I will leave that right there for this moment. But we know that it's top priority on people's minds to find their loved ones and how they're doing in Scientology. We know that. We see your messages. We feel the pain. We do have a couple more updates, which I'll let Matt tell you.
All right, these are just
from his leakety leaks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to cover names that were given to me over the last week. You'll see that a lot of them are old-time auditors, which kind of makes sense because the public, they come in contact with the counselors, the auditors that they dealt with. They don't necessarily know the people that work in the back lines area or the guy that cooks the lunch or something like that. So most of these people have been in the Sea Org that I'm going to bring up here for like 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, these are veteran Sea Org members. And you'll see, like so many other Sea Org members right now, there's a lot of old, elderly staff. All right, so the first one was Malin Gelfin. She's very old. She can hardly walk, and she's doing folder work part-time on a reduced schedule. Just so you know, a lot of these elderly that are living out at the Hacienda apartment complex, they're too old to really be brought into the Fort Harrison area to do any kind of work, even for a couple hours a day. So what happens is folders are brought out to them where they actually live and sleep. And the intention is to get them to pull as much work out of these people as they can before they die. Really, that's really what's happening.
To their last breath. Yeah. That's what Scientology.
So they're like, no, you can't rest. We have folders. You have to get these done. So that's happening. So that's with Malin Gelfin. Then there's Franz Kunze. He has cancer. He's getting chemo, and he's part-time whenever he has enough energy. He's doing folder work for the Flag Service Organization.
What was he before?
He was an auditor.
He was an auditor.
Yeah, for years and years, decades, literally. I mean, these people I'm mentioning, I mean, they're all part of people that work for almost nothing and help make billions for Scientology.
Right.
So
yeah,
now
as highly trained auditors.
Yeah, highly trained, like most highly trained on the whole planet, really. So a lot of these people, you paid $700 to $1,000 an hour for them to audit you. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
and
so
they work their
that just
butts
puts it in perspective of how Scientology is treating people who were gold to them before. Right. You can think what you want about Scientology auditing, which I think is crap, but they were getting paid $1,000 an hour for their services, and they were highly trained in Scientology's technology. And this is how Scientology is treating those very valuable people.
Yeah. His wife, Veronica, she's still working as what's called a cramming officer. She helps people correct, mistakes they make, things like that. So she's still in there working her full schedule, her whatever, 80 hours a week. Nina Palmer, same with her. She's been there for like 50 years. She's still in there. She's auditing, doing a full schedule. Her husband, Ted Palmer, he was also an auditor. He got brain cancer and had an operation about 15 years ago. I was good friends with Ted. He's a very happy-go-lucky type guy, and I'm told he's still that way, even though he can't really get around very much. He has 2 canes, and he kind of like tries to hobble around with those 2 sticks. he can't actually work anymore. Particularly, he's like pretty much living at the hacienda, taking care of the cats with the people that are like sick. So that's Ted. Another one, Kathy Wiggin, another long-term auditor. She's not doing well medically. She had a leg injury prior to the Sea Org that was pretty extensive, and that is really acting up, I'm told, these days. And she's also on a very reduced schedule, doing kind of folder work type stuff. Somebody asked about Christian Winter. He used to be the bookstore officer at the Flag Service Organization for years and years. At this time, he's working as what's called a letter registrar. He writes letters to the public to get them to pay money and eventually pay for a service and then come to Flag to get that service. So he's doing that. Somebody asked about April Ibarra, and apparently she's still there. She was married. Her husband wound up leaving the Sea Org. She stayed behind. What I'm told, allegedly, she was physically, sexually attacked as a 14-year-old at Flag. That was covered up. Just as a point, that happens so much in Scientology because people that are attacked, they're not allowed to report to the authorities. Scientology policy forbids people to go to the police, go to authorities, report it. It's supposed to be handled internally. And when you try to handle it internally, these people that were the victims are made to feel like they were the people who caused it. And they're responsible, and they get punished for it. And it's really disgusting. This recent court case with Danny Masterson, it really exposed the fact that Scientology covers up for criminals and attacks and tries to squash and quiet and attack and threaten the victims who try to bring forward information about hardcore criminals. That now this guy's he's been convicted, he's going to prison for 30 years to life. But I mean, Scientology's been trying to cover for this guy for over a decade. I mean, that's Scientology. And the only reason this guy wound up in jail is because the women were so strong and so determined to see justice that even when Scientology threatened them, said that they would be declared suppressive persons, SPs, and would be cut off from their family, or everybody they knew, these women still said, you know what, enough's enough. This animal has to be taken care of and put away. Mm-hmm. And so he was. So well done to them.
Yeah, luckily they were strong. And despite everything that Scientology throws at these people to keep them silent, they forged forward.
Right.
Ready.
All right, so the next one is Clemence Lorival, and she handles ethics at the big building that's across from Fort Harrison. So she's still there. Okay, next was Molly Borstein and her daughter Jessica. I don't have any information about them. Maybe they weren't working at Flag in Clearwater. If anybody does have information about them, let me know, and I'll pass that information on. All right, so in the last video, I talked about Charlie and Stephanie Bills. I said that they had returned from New York, where they were being external Flag Service Organization money registrars. And when they came back to Flag, Stephanie herself was not doing well physically. She had lost a lot of weight. And I thought Charlie was still there, but he's not. I found out that he left just a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I saw a post that he did on a computer where he said that he didn't agree with all the pressure being put on public and staff regarding money, and that he put it in capital letters, O-U-T, out. So well done, Charlie, for getting out of there. He's a good guy. All right, so that's the update on the people that I was asked about. In some cases, people didn't want the name they were looking for, the person, the family member, the friend, put on a video because they were afraid that Scientology might move them or hide them if they knew someone was looking for them, right. Which has happened. People have even had their names changed. Miscavige has ordered, like children, to have their names completely changed and moved to a different continent in a way to basically punish their parents, so that parents would have a really difficult time finding them. Amy covers some of that in her book too.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's disgusting. I mean, come on, who the heck does that?
I know.
The guy's a sick dude.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Yeah.
All right.
Are those the ones?
Those are the names.
Well, I hope that helps those who were asking, and the ones that didn't want it made known, we've still answered you to give you that information. Again, we have things in the works so as to help people reconnect with their loved ones, because we know how vital it is, we know how important it is, and there needs to be a real centralized way to do that. Anyway, so that's in the works. You'll hear more about that in the future, in the near future. And otherwise, what else do we want to talk about?
Well, one thing I would say, when you're in Scientology, you tend to believe anything that L. Ron Hubbard says is the truth. You just you're kind of conditioned to just accept anything that has his name on it as truth. And one of the things that he says is that the only reason somebody would attack or talk bad about Scientology is because they have all these crimes. All right.
That's like the instant thought stopping. Don't listen to them. Anyone who speaks out against us has crimes. So they're just trying to destroy us because we're the good guys. That's what they say every time. So right away you just go, nah, I can't hear you, But anyway, that's how they brainwash people.
Yeah. And if you're in the Office of Special Affairs, OSER, which is the attack wing of Scientology, and you're watching this, because I know some of you have to watch it, just step back a minute and look at it. The people that are in SPTV, the people that are, speaking out, they're speaking truth. They're speaking from their heart. They're actually trying to help people and living good lives. And then you take a look at Scientology, abusing women, abusing children, abusing the elderly, financial crimes that are like
hair-raising. That people need to be in prison. A lot of people need to be in prison for.
And it's not just like one here, one there. It's like an international thing at this point. I mean, you have governments that actually have staff. Their whole job is to warn their public in their country about Scientology and educate them so that they don't get pulled into the con job. Like it's intense. I mean, what organized crime organization is there in the United States that's bigger than Scientology or worse than Scientology, as far as like number of people, the organization, how organized it is, the amount of money it deals with, the amount of hurt that it puts on people, tracks people down, hires all these blackmail, private investigators, killing people's pets because they speak out. I mean, it's intense. That's not a church. That's not a tax-exempt organization. And if you're in there protecting it, I know when you joined the Sea Org, you were there to help people. You wanted to improve the planet and the population and get away from crime and war and all that. And at this point, you got to look at it. You're on the wrong side of the fence. You're actually working for the criminals at this point and attacking the good people that are trying to sort that out and expose it. So you can leave. I mean, call me, call the Aftermath Foundation. We'll come and get you. I'm only about 45 minutes away. We'll get you out. We'll get you plane fare. We'll get you a job, money, medical, legal. If they won't give you the passport, I'll go and get the passport for you. It'll take me like 5 seconds. I'll go in and say, listen, give me the guy's passport or I'll have the FBI down here in 10 minutes. And they will be jumping through the little buttholes to get your passport. So there's nothing to stop you from leaving. You do have a choice at this point. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for being with us again today. And if you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to get more information, follow our story on exposing Scientology and its cultiness.
And don't forget, with Scientology, it's always worse than you think.
Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye.